Hello, everyone. Good morning. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is having a wonderful, blessed day so far. I hope everyone is being positive. I hope everyone is staying focused and just enjoying their day so far. Welcome back to our channel, Front Porch Wisdom. I'm so glad that you guys stopped by. And if you are not a member, please hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you hit that bell next to the subscription button, it will also allow you to be notified on every video that I upload, and you will never be without a video. So today's topic is back to the basics. What is back to the basics? Well, back to the basics is just that. In my time, we grew up where we had beepers. I don't know if you all know what beepers are, but we had beepers and we had rotary phones. And a rotary phone is a phone that has the handset to it, the handpiece, and it has all the numbers, but it has a finger where you circle, you dial your numbers, okay? And back in my day, you dial 0 for an operator. Well, we know we don't do that no more. I don't even think there is any more operators that exist. They probably went out of business when they started getting into the cell phones. But anyway, we had rotary phones, and rotary phones were phones that, like I said, you called the 0, you dial 0 for operator, and she would give you the number that you was looking for, and you would dial that number. But the only thing bad about a rotary phone was if you messed up in your dialing, you had to start all over again. Okay. And then we actually had a push pad. I grew up on a push pad which had 1 through 0 on there. And you just kind of push the numbers. But all of those, I mean, it may be some people that still have phones like that. Let me know in the comments below if you still own or possess a rotary phone or one of those push button phones. But I haven't seen anybody with those types of phones in a long time. You know, now it's iPhones, computers, laptops, tablets, and Androids. Long gone, I think, are the days that we'll see rotary phones or the push pad phones. But nevertheless, back to the basics, you know. That's how I was raised. You know, that's what I grew up on. And, you know, it worked for me. And you know how they say, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. But, of course, technology always is going to event itself. And old things will pass away and new things will come into play. And so it's just amazing to see how time has changed over the years. But also back to the basics was, for me growing up, was eating at the table as a family. And I know a lot of you can relate to this. Nowadays we see where you almost about have to beg people to come and sit down at the table and have dinner. You've got somebody in one room, you got somebody in another room, you got somebody eating in the living room, you got somebody that's sitting outside on the porch. Everybody's just kind of scattered, and so it's kind of hard to bring that family unit back to the table. You know, I know to me, that's where it all started. You know, a lot of us that grew up, that's where it all started, was right at that dinner table. But it's so hard these days to get that back because everybody is going. Everybody's here and there. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got somewhere to be, something to do. They don't want that sit-down family time. They don't want to sit down and discuss. They don't want to sit down and talk about anything. They want to be with their friends. And it's just a lot. And so, you know, sometimes you find the mother getting upset because she's done slaved and cooked herself to death in that kitchen and then got this food prepared for her family. And they don't even really want to sit down and enjoy it. They're going to grab something quick out at one of these fast food restaurants. I mean, that's just kind of the way the world is, just fast-paced, fast-paced, fast-paced. And so, you know, she's feeling some kind of way because she put all her hard work into it, her love and passion into cooking. And everybody's kind of going their own way, you know. So, back to the basics, back to the table. Was it ever anything wrong with back to the table? Was it ever anything wrong with having a good conversation at the table and just sitting and sharing about how your day was, how it went, and you know, just discussing good times, bad times, crying, whatever it may be, I know for me that's what I grew up on, and that's what my kids grew up on, and now it's just changed. Like I said, everybody's just kind of doing their own thing now, but sitting at that table was really good, and I encourage people to get back to the basics. That's kind of what I teach people to do, is how important it is to get back to the basics, and how do you get back to the basics. Um, I took nothing for granted what I grew up on. I didn't really pay attention to what was happening at the time until I got older, but just sitting at the kitchen counter and watching my mother cook and clean and sweep and mop, and how she prepared her meals, and how she knew how to balance when the phone would ring, how she would hold that phone. Like I said, that old rotary phone. She had the headset in one ear and had it positioned with that shoulder, and she was still over at the stove cooking and beating up cornbread and frying up chicken or pork chops or what have you, making a meatloaf. I admired how she could do all that stuff, and she was hey, so many of us, we are multi-talented, okay? And that's what my mom was, and that's where I got it from. Being able to do many things at one time, that's a gift. Whether you know it or not, that is a gift. A lot of people can't do more than one thing at one time. But she showed me how she did it, and I picked up on it. And not that I took it for granted, but I just thought, okay, she's doing her thing. That's awesome. But as I became older and I became a wife and a mother, I could appreciate those things, because I was like, dang, this is a lot, but I'm doing it. And so, just not taking for granted what we grew up under, just so many things that we take lightly, that someone else did not have the privilege or the blessing to enjoy growing up. We should just kind of stop and think about our childhood. Everybody's childhood may not be great. Everybody might have had everybody's wasn't good. Some people had it bad. Somebody had it worse than somebody else. And I hate that happened, but we just shouldn't take our childhood for granted. If it was bad, make it positive. Turn it around and make it positive for you and your little ones to come up, and so that they can be different and be better than what yours was. And if you were blessed to have a mother and a father who loved you and was willing to instill in you life skills and the importance of life skills, so that you could be a better you, a great mother and an awesome father, then that's a blessing right there within itself. And I just happen to be one of those that had parents like that. And so I even picked up some of my father's traits, cutting the grass, painting, washing cars, things like that. I love doing that. People look at me like I'm crazy and like, are you serious? You like doing things like that? I absolutely do. It is very relaxing to me to do those things, along with being the mother and cooking and cleaning and mopping and sweeping and folding clothes and laundry and all those things. But yeah, I do. I love to paint. I love to wash cars. I love to cut the grass. I love to get out and plant flowers and stuff. I love doing all of those things. It's just so relaxing to me to do. It just takes me away, whatever might have been on my mind that day that I didn't want to think about or didn't want to visit. I would do something like that, or put me a little jazz on or whatever, and just start doing whatever it is, and it would take my mind off of things so quickly, and I would just have such a peace about where I was, and whatever I was thinking about, it was gone. So yeah, I picked up traits from my mom and my dad, and so I'm appreciative of that, because I didn't know that I would until I got older. And then it's just like, oh my God, I'm like my dad, or I'm like my mom. I'm doing the same things that I find myself doing that they did. And I didn't know that I was going to really even inherit those things, because I wasn't really paying attention. But they did it so much that I did notice it, and who thought that a lot of things our parents do, we say, I ain't gonna be like my parents, I ain't gonna do that. And how many of us find ourselves doing the very thing that we said we wasn't gonna do, we're doing it. And I tell you another thing that I hear a lot of us say that we ain't gonna do and we do it. How many times have we heard our parents say, they'll call us by our name, but it don't be us, it be our sister or our sibling, our brother. And if they can't remember which one they're referring to, they'll call out everybody's names. Yeah. How many of us is doing that today? And we stop and we pause and we catch ourselves and we say, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing my mom did. I remember when she used to do that with me. Yes, it's so funny to just kind of sit back and reminisce on those things and see how you have so much of your parents' characteristics in you, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's a good thing. It's a funny thing. And what's so funny is that those things may trickle down in your kids. They laugh at you now, but hey, what they say, what goes around comes around. So hey, there you go. But yeah, back to the basics, just sitting at the table together, having family time. I think we need to get back to family time. It's so critical. And I think that Satan is trying to keep our families destroyed and separated from the lack of communication. We're giving social media and all these other platforms more time and more communication than we do with each other. And I know, like for me also, when I was growing up, you went to a building and you went to go and interview with a person. You sit down at a desk and you was interviewed. You did not put applications online. That was not even a thought back in the day. You went and applied in person. You got that interview before you left, and you knew if you had the job before you left. Nowadays, it's just like you go online and apply. You don't know if the application went through. You don't know if your application is being filtered around based on however many other people apply for the same position. You just don't know. And so it takes a while before you hear back to see if you even, was qualified for the job, got the job, what have you. So the process is it's more difficult nowadays than what it used to be. It's like I said, it's just nothing like that good old one-on-one communication, that eye-to-eye, face-to-face communication. I love it. But, like I said, if it wasn't broke, don't fix it. But technology is steady improving and growing by the day, and it is going to continue to. Everybody is just, some people are just sitting back and thinking of the next thing, And although we get comfortable with some things, don't get comfortable too long, because the moment you do, it's going to be a new thing that comes. So as quick as you learn that, it's something new coming all the time. All the time. It's almost like you can't keep up with the new thing all the time, But like I said, what I grew up on, it was fine for me. It worked, and some things I wish we could get back to that, we could use today. But it's just we're just in a different world, a different time, But back to the basics, life skills is something that everybody needs. Life skills are so crucial, and I see so many young women and so many young men that don't have life skills. If you ask them, have they ever used a wash machine or dryer, they would tell you no. If you ask them if they knew how to fold a towel, a bath towel, no. Do you know how to make toast, boil an egg? No. Do you know how to sweep or mop a floor? No. I've seen it done, but no, I haven't actually had hands-on training. And that's another thing that brings me back to this point. Also, back in the day when I was coming up, you had on-the-job training. And pretty much you still do now. They say they don't, but they took the time out. You got paid on-the-job training experience. They would train you how to do things the way they wanted you to do it. Okay? Because, of course, they want you to know the way they do it because they want you to be the best at what you do for the company. But all that on the job training and getting paid for that, they kind of cut all that out, you know. And, once again, a lot of things have changed over the years. So, but still, nevertheless, they tell you that even every job that you go and apply and you get hired for, they gotta train you, to learn how to do it their way. But just back to the basics. I think that we should get back to the basics and quick because our world is in need of it. Life skills, no doubt about it. A lot of people are just faking it till they make it, and they don't have any kind of life skills whatsoever. And people are noticing when they're in the presence of someone if they have those life skills or not. So that was the topic today, was back to the basics. Um, Again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell that will notify you for every video that I upload. And if you think that this video is well worth sharing, please share it with someone that will benefit from it. Please comment down below what you thought about the video if you have any questions. And by all means, please come back and visit me because I love to talk with you. And I'll see you next time on the porch.